am with Nicole Clough. She is from the Free Syrian Army. How was your trip?
Good afternoon, Lauren. My trip was very good, thank you.
Good. Let's start by getting to know you and the Free Syrian Army.
Okay, what's first?
Well, start by telling us what the Free Syrian Army is.
The Free Syrian Army is an armed opposition structure operating in Syria since the start of the Syrian civil war. This whole thing started with some protesters and grew from there.
Very interesting. But why was it created?
Well, let me start with it's composed of defected Syrian armed forces of people and volunteers.
So, why was it created?
There's no real reason why it was created, but in my opinion, I think it was created so Syria could have more of an army.
Why, that is very interesting. Now let's start by getting to know you.
Okay, that sounds great. What would you like to know?
I'll start with, were you a volunteer or were you part of the Syrian Armed Forces?
I was a volunteer. I volunteered because I've always wanted to be in the armed forces, and by volunteering, I would achieve my goal faster.
Wow, I have a friend that has that same dream.
Well, tell him or her that there's always a way to achieve your dreams, just like I did.
Thanks for that. How do you feel about the U.S. being involved in the war?
That's a good question. Well, I don't think the U.S. could influence it, or in other words, control the situation without losing a lot of lives.
Why?
I just think they might make it worse.
Well, why do you think the U.S. hasn't fixed it yet? I'm pretty sure they could.
I don't think they can. I'm pretty sure that every option that they have is bad. I think if they are going to do anything, it might start a second civil war for the U.S. Also, the Iraq-style ground invasion might end up the killing of tons of U.S. lives.
Okay, then why is Obama bothering to strike if there's not going to solve anything?
President Obama isn't doing anything it to shape the war. He's doing it to punish Assad for using chemical weapons illegally, might I add. Also, to prevent him or any other future militant leaders in the future wars to using them.
That seems harsh, don't you think?
Well, why don't you bring it up with him?
Yeah, good point. Where do you think the conflict currently stands?
Assad's government still stands strong, but it has lost a lot of territory. They also have a good arsenal, which includes the chemical weapons. The rebels remain divided among hundreds of small militants and brigades, the most powerful which are recital Islamist groups.
Thank you for the catch-up. Speaking of the rebels, who outside of Syria supports the rebels and who supports Syria?
Russia and Iran are Syria's most important allies. The support of the rebels would have to be Turkey and Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
When do you think this war will end?
It'll end when the U.S. is able to do something without losing innocent lives.
When do you think that will happen?
Judging by what is happening right now, not in the near future, only because we haven't done anything to end it.
Well, it has been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now over to Olivia for the editorial.